and welcome to Pod Job, a James Bond podcast. I'm Matt Stokes.
And I'm Wade Hemel. Welcome to the show.
Wade, I have a question for you. If you're just joining us, we both loved the James Bond movies. We've both seen them all, but Wade's seen them all a lot more than I have. So I have questions like, is this the first time James Bond did this? So I want to know. In From Russia with Love, the song From Russia with Love appears diegetically, like you hear it on a radio. Presumably this is a radio hit. It's a bop. Everybody's listening to it all the time. Is that the only instance of a James Bond theme song appearing as an in-world song?
Good question. And you caught me off guard right at the top of the show. Well done, Matt. Cheers to you.
Thank you.
I have my Canadian mug here in celebration of James Bond, Britain's most famous Canadian spy.
Yeah. Well, James Bond based on an actual Canadian spy, William Stevenson. Mm-hmm. That's true.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I was just riffing.
Yeah, because you hear Canadian spy and you're like, Canadian. And listen, folks, the Canadians, they get up to some shit. And also Canada was still part of Britain at the time. So British spy, technically. But I was thinking this song From Russia with Love. I know it's not Frank Sinatra singing it, but it's Frank Sinatra, basically.
It's Timu Frank Sinatra.
From Russia with Love. But it's the height of the Cold War. Who's listening to this song? And what is this song about?
Wait, man. Matt Monroe doesn't care. He did it his way.
Yeah. That's the name of the guy?
Yeah.
You knew who this guy was outside of James Bond?
Bruh, you're talking to the guy who got the James Bond soundtrack theme song CD compilation.
Well, that's why you know it. It's not like you.
Yeah, no, it's not like Matt Monroe was lighting up the charts in the going toe to toe with the Beatles.
But you know what I'm saying? What is this song? Who's listening to a song about Russia in like conservative old London town in 1962?
Nobody.
Yeah.
It's part of the James Bond they're world building.
But they're figuring it out as they go. And they're like, okay, maybe the theme song should play over the opening credits. How about that? And not just like you hear 20 seconds of it on a tinny radio as somebody paddles a boat.
Mm-hmm.
This movie established a lot of James Bond shit. Like a lot of it's not in Dr. No, but they figure out like kind of most of the things of the hallmarks of Bond that we associate with Bond. They figured out here.
Except for perhaps excess.
Yeah.
Because everything is just so the plot is you can follow it. You can take a bathroom break for 2 minutes and come back and you won't necessarily have missed something that turns the movie upside down.
Yeah, it is. It's like the most. I think it's like the most straightforward like espionage movie.
Straightforward espionage. That's my genre.
Yeah, and it's very stripped down. It's very intense. I think a lot of people think it's the best James Bond movie.
When I'm watching it, I think that they probably never made a better one. I was watching it just this morning, and I had that thought several times. Like, damn. When this one is on, I can't argue with it.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that perhaps in our next episode when the phenomenon returns. Okay.
Yeah, because I think of this as the best of the Connery, but I kind of have when I'm watching it, it's like there's no like outstanding like all-time set pieces or anything. Except for, I think, everything with Robert Shaw on the train is really amazing. Mm-hmm. It is just like solid beginning to end. And I don't know. I guess people who make the case that this is the best one, is that what they'd say, that this is they haven't leaned into the goofiness yet.
Right. Although it is frequently funny.
And he has a lot of one-liners, but he's kind of delivering them in like what do you think of that? Like not so sure about these one-liners yet. Yeah. Maybe he's just trying them on for size.
Yeah, most of the humor doesn't come from the one-liners. It comes from stuff like when M is listening to the tape in the office with all the generals and
it's
shit.
It's so funny. And James, will you make love to me every minute when we get to London?
Day and night.
I read on the IMDb trivia, which is always bullshit. They're like, Steven Spielberg saw this movie and he's like, that's my Quint. Like, what? No, he didn't. That's not what he thought. He didn't know about Quint. And what about this performance would make you think that's Quint?
I don't know, but like, can't you see it?
I mean, I could see it in that this is a great actor.
Yeah,
but
it's about as far as it goes.
Yeah. It's not like you're like, oh, yes, it's the beginnings of Quint here.
Mm.
Quint loves life. Quint, I don't know. No, Quint has a past. I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He's got some skeletons in the closet, and he takes them out every now and then to boil their teeth.
He's so good in this movie. I said in our last episode that I noticed, because I watched Dr. No and From Russia with Love back to back, that when Connery is with Robert Shaw, you can kind of see. I've just watched a lot of Sean Connery movies in general, just sort of to prepare for this. And he is one of those actors who's like, he can be engaged or he can coast. And the good thing about him is when he's coasting, he's still good because he's just so charismatic. But sometimes he's really engaged, and you can kind of see him get really, really into it, I think, for the first time as Bond when he's talking to Robert Shaw.
Really? You didn't feel like he transcended that line in Dr. No?
By that line, I don't mean like it's what he's doing is bad. It's just like,
no, of course,
he stops being movie star, like effervescent, charismatic Sean Connery, and becomes like trained thespian. And when they are fighting, he looks legitimately furious. And you feel like this is a dangerous guy, which I haven't really felt like.
That's fair.
Until that point.
No, that's a good assessment.
And I think that maybe that's what people are picking up on when they talk about why they love this movie so much.
Would you say that the train fight is maybe like the first all-time classic scene in a Bond film?
I love so many things. What about when he's just walking through the airport? And I don't know.
I thought about that too. Like, yes, we get another airport walking scene with the same song.
Yeah, when he checks into his hotel in this one, I'm like, they're doing it again.
Hell and yeah, keep it coming.
And this is when they play the Bond theme song. Like, yes, I've never seen something so exciting. The way he opens his bathroom, looks, unscrews a light bulb, kind of does a on the wall. This guy knows what he is doing.
We don't see him going to bed and sleeping or going to the bathroom to take a shit or anything, but he does at least inspect the room. We still have a shred of James Bond, the boring human, in this movie. Yeah.
Seems like when Q shows him the briefcase, he's like impressed. He's not a sarcastic little bitch like he normally is. Oh, that's very clear. This is some good work. Yes, okay.
Yeah, already by the next movie, which, by the way, yeah, you have that kind of snarky, and Q has to deliver the line of how he never jokes about his work. But I'm jumping a movie ahead. Let's talk about Movie Today.
Okay, From Russia with Love. So the way that
Welcome to Movie Today with Matt Stokes and Wade Email.
And on Movie Today, the way that we do this is, and if you listen to my podcast, 1 Week Rental, we do the same thing, do the history of the movie, except that on these early James Bond episodes, we're kind of picking a figure from James Bond and kind of profiling them. And we're going to do Ian Fleming today. Now, I'm using as my source a biography of Ian Fleming by Nicholas Shakespeare. And this is a very good, very long biography, but it sent me down a million rabbit holes because he lived he died pretty young, but he lived an interesting life, and it sent me down all these rabbit holes of things I didn't know about. So let's start in the most obvious place with Scottish clans. So a clan is basically...
the Robert Shaw. Sorry.
He's English. You wouldn't know it. Clan, just like an extended family or kinship group, but it's like officially regulated by like the friggin' Herald Goblin organizations or whatever of Scotland. So Clan Fleming, the family that Ian Fleming is born into, well, what's their deal? Well, a Fleming, Wade, do you know what a Fleming is?
No.
A Fleming is someone who's historically from the county of Flanders, which is in modern day Belgium today, but they were merchants who at some point migrated over to Scotland. And they settled there. And so you're from Flanders, you're a Fleming, so that just becomes your last name. So that's the family he is descended from. And I think in the last episode, we couldn't remember if James Bond is actually Scottish or not in the novels.
And I forgot to look that up.
Well, he is. He had confirmed he is, just like Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming's father was Scottish, so he claims to be Scottish. I think that to the British, like, it's like cheating if you don't say you're Scottish. Like, if you have a Scottish father, then you cannot claim to be English, even though he lived his whole life in England or, grew up in England. The noble house of Fleming,
wow.
Very, very old family, Scottish, wealthy Scottish banking family. His father, Valentine Val Fleming, born into this immensely wealthy family, was friends with Winston Churchill. Indeed, Winston Churchill wrote his obituary when he died in the First World War.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that's the kind of like family connections they have. This is another rabbit hole I went down, is British boarding schools. So, I mean, if you're entering the ruling class, if you come from the ruling class in Britain, they send you to one of these boarding schools from an early age that like feeds into the boarding high school, which feeds into the Oxfordshire University or whatever, where you go learn to be an evil villain and you're going to rule the world one day.
Plus, if you're not boring, you can't be a nobility.
Well, exactly. So his dad went to Eton College, which despite its name, it's a high school. These fucking British people, where it's
and
like,
they don't even eat there.
I wish I went to Eton College. But it's like how in Britain they're like, our public schools are what you Yanks call them private schools, yeah? So, it's a public school, which means it's a private school, and it's a college, which means it's a high school, and then it feeds you into university, which is college. But
it was opposite day that day in the British Empire.
Fucking no.
When they decided these things.
Val is like from this elite world. He marries a English socialite named Evelyn, aka Eve. He became a member of parliament for the Conservative Party, served from 1910 to 1917, again, killed in the First World War, and his obituary was written by his good friend, Mr. Winston Churchill. Okay, that brings us to Ian Fleming.
Which hill was the church he was born in located on?
Hey, they've been looking for a long time. They still haven't found it.
He's a fraud.
Ian Lancaster Fleming.
He was born on a molehill, isn't it?
Born 1908 in London, he was the second of the Fleming sons. His older brother Peter would become a famous journalist and travel writer, and for a time was way more famous than his younger brother. And he's like this classic second son who's like, me older brother's always getting all the attention. Always succeeding in everything, and he was just the sort of fuck up younger brother. But among this wealthy family's many holdings was a vacation home in Dorset, England, which was very close to the estate of the famous Bond family, whose official house motto was "Non sufficit orbis,"
which means
the world is not enough.
Wow!
Like everything, Ian Fleming is one of these writers who's like, he didn't invent anything. Just if he saw it out in the world, he's like, that's my novel now. Every name was just somebody he knew. Oh, your name's Blofeld. Now you're a character. Like that kind of. Like, you can just invent stuff,
The original Blofeld was just a blowfish.
I'm trying to remember who the real Blofeld was. Damn it, I can't.
He was on a boat trip and he saw a blowfish and he was like, "You're going in the book. You're the bad guy."
He's like, I got to write that down. So
Oh, spoiler! Blofeld is the bad guy.
In the credits though, it's question mark. So we don't know that.
I love that. Quick detour. I love when a character that you're not supposed to see or don't see gets a question mark as a credit in the movie. The other example I can think of right off the top of my head is oh no, I think I misremembered that. I was thinking the truck driver in Duel had a question mark, but I'm pretty sure they credited him. But I remember thinking that they should have given him a question mark.
And Steven Spielberg loved James Bond so much, he should have remembered that.
Yeah, you fucking charlatan.
The Bond, or what are the names? The Fleming boys, they enter the world of British public boarding schools. First at this school called Durnford, which is a feeder school to Eton. Every morning, the boys of Durnford were required to run out to the beach, strip naked, and swim in the ocean under the close supervision of their headmaster.
As one does in high school.
This was like elementary school. Yeah. This is the British journalist Ben McIntyre described this school, Durnford, as, quote, a traditionally brutal prep school which epitomized the strange British faith in bad food, plenty of Latin, and beatings from an early age, end quote.
Those are stereotypes.
Yeah, this world of British public schools, boarding schools, where you just go, you get subjected to hazing and often sexual abuse, and then you're just obsessed with where you went to high school for the rest of your life. He went to Eton. Look just on Wikipedia. There's a giant Wikipedia page of famous alumni of Eton School, and it's just a list of like villains of the 20th century, and then also some movie stars whose names you might recognize.
And if you look up the pronunciation key of that school, you just get
That's true. Yeah. Well, you have to click the little speaker button to hear that.
No, it plays automatically when you hit the Wikipedia page.
Oh, well, that's good. That's if you donate to Wikipedia, that's where it's going.
Yeah.
He
the autoplay sound effects.
He, always said that he hated his time at Eton, but it still like defined him for the rest of his life. It seems every single person who attended Eton, that was like the single most important fact about them for the rest of their lives. It's all they ever talked about in the novels. James Bond himself went to Eton. If you read like the Harry Potter books and you'll notice like, how come every fucking character went to Hogwarts and it's all they ever care about or talk about? It's like, well, that's real life for these fucks.
Yeah. Interesting.
He drops out before he could finish Eton, and then he just begins his long career as a sort of...
You don't have any pudding, you can't eat your meat. I think I got that backwards.
Yeah, it's if you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. And as we know, pudding is everything. So you can't have any food. You can't have any food. Every food that they have over there is pudding.
They're not even eating over at Eton.
Won't
someone save the children?
He dropped out of Eton before he could finish, and then he began a long career as a like sort of just aimless fail son fuck up, just like creating sexual scandals wherever he went, contracting STDs, and then getting moved to like a priest, like getting moved to a different parish while the heat dies down, before studying to enter the Foreign Office but failing the exam, and then as he's studying, he's trying to go be an ambassador or something, but he can't pass the test to do it. But he nevertheless learns all these foreign languages. And so his mother uses her connections to get him a job at Reuters. And his first big assignment is to go to Moscow in 1933 to cover something called the Metro Vickers affair. Now, this is a famous scandal about British engineers in the Soviet Union who...
First I heard of it.
It's not that famous. Who got charged with like sabotage and espionage, and it was a show trial. And so he attended this as a 24-year-old, and this hardened his opinions about the Soviet Union for the rest of his life. Like that's a bad place, isn't it?
Truly a shining example of failing sideways, Ian Fleming.
Yeah, and that was kind of. I still do not totally understand how. Well, I kind of do. Like he does all this stuff. And we'll get to his war career, and then there's still like 7 years go by after the war, and then he's like, and then I wrote a novel. Like what? What? Okay. In your 40s, you just decided, I think I'll write a novel.
By the way, we're recording these in the late fall, which is, as we all know, thanks to streaming services, Beatles season. So every British person has a Liverpool accent.
Is it Beatles season? Is that true?
Yeah, Disney Plus decided when they just started releasing every Beatles piece of content they had in November.
Huh. What's the newest thing they've done?
The Beatles anthology, The Dark Knight Rises.
So this is not just the same old anthology that came out in the 90s?
It is, but I think they added some couple of minutes here and there. It's barely. I mean, it's what we all know and love.
Okay. I don't think I've watched that since college.
It's good. It's worth going back through.
Okay, maybe
it's maybe the fourth best James Bond movie, Beatles anthology. That's why they call it Anthology 4.
So, I mean, the novel From Russia with Love is very hostile to the Soviet Union. The movie less so, interestingly, which we'll get to. But he's
I got a note about that.
Okay, yeah. He was like, he went to Russia. He's like, oh, this is the worst place in the whole darn world, isn't it? Comes back, he just sort of putt-putts around for a while, and then the Naval Intelligence Department recruits him. Why? Well, because, you're famous family.
Because you can't play putt-putt forever.
Then rose very, very fast in the British Naval Intelligence Department. Now, this is its own whole rabbit hole you can go down. Intelligence, the world of intelligence is populated with these second sons of really wealthy and powerful families. Very interestingly, it's like the first son mines the family fortune and the second son goes to work in the intelligence agencies to like protect their fortune. And so he rises very fast in the Naval Intelligence Department, British Naval Intelligence Department. World War II breaks out, and he just works alongside all the men who would eventually morph into the leaders of MI6 and the CIA. And his most prominent assignment was devising something called Operation Goldeneye.
And did he come up with that name?
I don't know.
Probably not.
No, probably not. And what do we mean by devise?
Oh, Governor, I got a good name for this operation.
So this was what was called a stay behind mission. Now, stay behind, this is another thing you can go down a rabbit hole if you want. There's a great book called NATO's Secret Armies. Read about Operation Gladio. But it's this idea that, like, if your country is about to fall to a foreign government, like if the French government knows they're going to lose to Germany, so they seed the resistance in France. Like in advance, in anticipation of their own government falling. But in practice, what this means is you just seed resistance movements in other countries. And so they anticipated Spain allying with the Nazis in World War II, which never ended up happening. But Operation Goldeneye was a plan to seed the Spanish resistance to the Spanish regime, which was allied with Hitler.
Wow.
Yeah. And then after World War II, these stay behind operations like Operation Gladio, which what they ultimately were was like the CIA paid like terrorists in Italy to disrupt any like left-wing activists or assassinate any politicians who were saying stuff they didn't like. That's what it ultimately ended up being. Okay, so Operation...
So if you go up to somebody who's like 95 and you go, hey, man, I really love GoldenEye, then they'll be like, oh dear, oh.
Exactly, yes, that's going to happen.
That happened.
If you go up to a man who's like 65 years old, he's like, yes, that estate in Jamaica.
Right.
And then you go up to a person under 35 and they'll say, oh, yeah, my favorite N64 game. So they never actually do Operation GoldenEye. So he's like, well, I can use it for me estate in Jamaica. Great. Because that's what he names his estate.
Yep.
In Jamaica. So, I mean, when it comes to people working...
You gonna use that? You gonna use that name? Are you done with that? Can I
have that.
I can have that.
When it comes to people working in intelligence, the thing you always hear is like, you never actually leave the intelligence agencies. It's like the mafia.
And you never really gain intelligence either. Oh.
So the question is, is he writing the Bond novels on order from his bosses? And ultimately, what I realize is like, it doesn't matter. He totally believes in everything that they're doing. So even if he was never told like, hey, you need to go, your next assignment is to make us look good for the world, or, help us recruit the next generation of agents. It doesn't necessarily matter if he was actually told that or not, because he's totally aligned with and believes in that idea. Mm-hmm. And that's something that intelligence services have always used pop culture for, both propaganda and recruiting. Like Jim from The Office on the Jack Ryan series on Amazon Prime. That's a perfect example of that. What is Jim from The Office doing playing a CIA agent? Well, it's like Amazon is a big CIA contractor and they need the CIA to look good to people who love The Office.
Thanks,
anyway,
Jim.
So, he resumes putt-putting around, being given jobs. Like, here, you can go do this job for a little while and you get sick of that job and go take a 6-month vacation in Jamaica.
Did he name Chitty Chitty Bang Bang after after what British people call putt-putt?
Oh, you want to go play some Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
Yeah, I'll just get me bangers.
So he gets married finally at age 44 to Anne Charteris in 1952. He was very stressed about the wedding, so to distract himself, he decided, go ahead and write me a novel. And he writes Casino Royale. How did he get this novel published? Well, his brother Peter, the already famous writer, told his publishing house, like, will you publish my brother's novel, please? And they did. This is just how it works.
Nice work if you can get it.
Yeah. And if you're like an aspiring artist or you're somebody who wants to do creative things like Wade and I, maybe for a living, ask yourself, is my entire family like super connected to the world of publishing and all this other stuff? And if the answer is no, well, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah. You might as well just play putt-putt.
So Casino Royale, he writes, it's published in 1953 to enormous success. Published 12 Bond novels and 2 collections of short stories. He also wrote the children's book Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
We probably talked about this in the last episode, but have you read the novels, Matt?
I had read Casino Royale, and then I read some of Dr. No to prepare for Dr. No, but I've read all of From Russia with Love now.
Ooh.
And it was by far my favorite of the 3 that I've read.
I used to have all of the books, and I don't know what happened to them, but I made it through almost every single one, I think, and From Russia with Love was probably my favorite.
Okay, yeah, they're fun. They are. They're
except for the chapter that's entirely about Russian architecture. That's a little less fun, but still fascinating.
If that's your thing.
He goes into so much detail that after a while you just kind of are impressed with like, Wow, he's still going.
But they're like, today they'd be airport novels.
Yeah.
They're not like, because it's written by a stuffy British guy in the 50s, you assume like, oh God, this is going to be like having to read James Joyce or something. But no, they're just fun, pulpy novels.
Yeah, and the writing style, I really enjoy his writing style. Actually, it's descriptive, but it's not flowery.
Right. It's so interesting to, if you've like ever seen a movie a million times, like I saw Jaws a million times before I read the novel Jaws, and it was like it's just so strange to like now read about characters who I know so well from the movies, but like they say something that's a little different. I'm like, but that's not what he says. Mm-hmm. So it's just so interesting to now read James Bond and be like, James Bond doesn't drink that. James Bond doesn't have these opinions about eggs, but it also feels right at the same time.
And as we alluded to last week, the plot differs in a couple of significant small ways. Like it ends on the cliffhanger of whether he even survives the events of the novel or not.
Yeah, because he said that he was getting sick of James Bond by the time he got to From Russia with Love.
Yeah, I'm sure he was really sick of all the success.
Yeah. But could not until he's like, I need another idea. What do I say when I'm on my way to the putt-putt course? Oh, chitty chitty bang bang. Until he had that idea, he had no other option. So he had to just keep going with Bond. But if you read From Russia with Love, James Bond doesn't appear until the book is 150 pages long. He doesn't appear till page 52.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And
that's the other thing I liked about it is just that sense of anticipation that it builds.
But I think he has maybe seen the limitations of him as a character, at least in novel form. Mm-hmm. For somebody who is supposed to be, I think in the novels, he is more of a fully formed character than he is in the movies. He is supposed to kind of just be a cipher who you can project on to. And then when he's on screen, you have just the energy of the actor to carry it. But this isn't like a guy who can like grow and change and
yeah, and it's interesting looking at the novels in chronological order that the third and fourth ones, Moonraker and Diamonds Are Forever, wouldn't be made into films until the 70s. And even in novel form, where the plots are significantly different than their film counterparts, they do feel more like they belong in that period where the films had become a little bit more bloated and fantasy based. Whereas, so I can see where you're going with like, he's bored with the character. So for his fifth novel, he's like, well, let's just embarrass this motherfucker. Maybe we'll kill him. Who knows?
When I think of Live and Let Die, and Moonraker, both of those, I'm like, but those are so 70s. How can these novels be like, what the hell is Moonraker about? Do they go to the moon in 1956? I can't wait to get to that.
I can't wait for you to get to that. Because clearly you don't want me to tell you.
I don't care. They don't. They don't?
No.
Is it about the moon?
No.
Oh. Is Jaws in it?
No.
We said Jaws a lot.
It's actually yeah. Wait. Is this an episode of the Jaws podcast that we do?
Fuck, we did it again.
I gotta get another cracker. Quint, we love you.
Arthur Conan Doyle also got really sick of Sherlock Holmes. I think this is just a thing when writers are like, there's so much more to me than James Bond. But it turns out there's not. So by the sixth one, he's like, no, Bond's coming back. And it's just James Bond for the rest of time.
James Bond in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah. I forgot to, I knew about this, but we didn't mention it on the Dr. No episode.
Mention it.
Before he wrote Dr. No, he received a fan letter from a freaking nerd named Jeffrey Boothroyd. Here's what the letter said. Quote,
Jeffrey Boothroyd. Another name not concocted by Ian Fleming.
Quote, I wish to point out that a man in James Bond's position would never consider using a 25 Beretta. It's really a lady's gun, and not a very nice lady at that. Dare I suggest that Bond should be armed with a 38 or a 9mm? Let's say a German Walter PPK. That's far more appropriate.
Wow. First of all, what a fucking nerd.
Gun people are all nerds.
Second of all, is that where the line in Dr. No, the movie comes from.
Yeah. And in the novel.
Nice and light in a lady's handbag.
And in the novel, because in real life, Fleming was not interested in guns and didn't know anything. So this is like this, but this is fucking every nerd at Comic-Con who like, I have more of a comment than a question. Like this is their dream. Is Ian Fleming starts corresponding with him and he's like, oh, cool, well, you'll just be my official like gun guy. And so he names the character after him.
Wow.
He wrote him a letter. I saw the letter. I don't have it here, but he says something like, I will make this change, perhaps not in the next, but in my next to next volume of James Bond's memoirs. Like he's writing to a child.
Jesus.
Like James Bond's a real person and I'm his memoirs.
I'll be sure to tell Mr. Bond for you what you think of his choice in firearm.
After the success of Dr. No, the movie United Artists greenlit a sequel with double the budget. From Russia with Love was fast-tracked into production like a Marvel movie today. They're like, get to it right now. The script isn't even finished. They do all kinds of reshoots and stuff.
And you can see 1/3 of that budget currently on your screen right now, going up in flames.
He's talking about the boat, because the boat sequence was totally reshot, right?
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
You're the history guy.
I thought you were saying something you knew.
Oh, no, I was just talking about how there's so many more explosions in this movie than there are in...
No, I mean, you can tell that, like, even like Rosa Klebb walking through the Spectre compound and they just have people shooting off flamethrowers. It's like, well, they have more money, so now they can just have a guy with a flamethrower.
Yeah. We bought this whole can of petrol.
So basically the whole team from Dr. No comes back, including the director Terrence Young, and I think he really steps it up for this movie. He does an incredible job, I think. Mm-hmm. There's some sections that I think are really, really visually interesting, and he's just creates a very intense atmosphere, way more intense than Dr. No. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Although I was talking about last time how James Bond gets like really beat up in Dr. No, and he doesn't really get all that beat up in this movie, but you're talking more about the overall tone.
Yeah, just in the filmmaking.
Moment to moment.
And I think this is very influenced by Alfred Hitchcock. North by Northwest was a huge influence on the Bond series. This has a lot of the structure of North by Northwest.
Damn, that movie's still on my list and I need to see it.
Yeah, you got to see it, which also has long sections on a train, also has like here it's a helicopter, but it's like in that movie, famously, it's a plane like fighting with a guy on the ground.
That's such a weird concept.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a travelogue. But he's also just like, I think like sort of not stealing, but sort of aping Hitchcock's visual style to just really boost up the intensity of everything you're watching. And like, it's, pretty simple thing is just like scary guy is on the train is going to get me.
Yeah.
And you feel it.
Yeah, it is very like 1 to 2, A to B, if then.
Yeah,
exactly. It's very linear, and not to bring it back to Jaws, but one thing I did notice this time around is that, what's his name? Robert Shaw is the shark in this movie.
Yeah, he kind of is.
He's just lurking. He's a presence, but he's not really there.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, they're teasing him the whole time.
Until he is very much there.
And he pays off.
And he
pays off like a slot machine.
Oh, jerkpot.
So this was a big hit. It was double the box office of Dr. No. Critically acclaimed, often ranked as the very best James Bond movie.
Double the budget, double the box office?
That's right, yeah.
Double mint gum.
And this is where we're in, like, I think this is the very height of James Bond's popularity. It's still huge. There have been movies like Casino Royale that when you adjust for inflation, not Casino Royale, Skyfall, when you like adjust for inflation, come close to earning what the like 60s Sean Connery movies made. But these were the very biggest movies. They were so huge.
And we were still in that all too brief window when the novels and the films were coming out at the same time.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Not released at the same time, but he was still writing.
Right, like getting the sort of feedback of the movies. Now knowing and like knowing his the movies are so much more famous than his own creation. But
and it's the further you go into the movies chronologically, the more the movies just do what Ian Fleming did of, oh, hey, that's a name for a thing that you had that wasn't a thing, and now it's going to be this movie.
Yeah. Did Ian Fleming like write any personal memos that have like a phrase we can use for the name of our movie? Did he say No Time to Die at some point?
Let's grab his dictaphone and play it back and see if he left himself any voice memos.
Which, yeah, that is often how they like Quantum of Solace. I think there was a short story, but yeah, it's often like, I'm sure he said Skyfall at some point, so we'll just make that the name of a movie.
If I die, may the sky fall. It would be a quantum of solace. All right.
The movie.
You're welcome, everyone.
So this movie begins with James Bond dying, huh? Sean Connery is just like walking around at night. Someone's tailing him. Mm-hmm. And Robert Shaw is the one pursuing him, which is kind of going to be the whole movie, guys.
Yeah. The whole movie. It's summed up in that one scene.
But then he gets killed, and I love how we go from Sean Connery to now a very terrible Sean Connery mask that somebody pulls off this corpse. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't know. In 1963, people's minds were probably fucking blown.
Yeah,
they did it. They killed him. Wait a minute, a mask.
And it won't be the last time they pull that trick.
When did they do that again?
In just a couple of movies.
And you only live twice?
Yeah, you in fact see him live twice in that movie.
Okay, yeah.
I love this opening scene. I think it's one of the best. There's barely any dialogue in it at all. It's just suspense and darkness and hedge mazes and the sickest, illest, grossest sound design for no apparent reason that I can think of.
What do you mean?
Just like when he takes the little garrote wire out of his watch and you hear, it's like, ooh, you know, this is a nasty guy. And then when they take the terrible mask off, like, what the hell sound is that? It sounds like somebody with a mouthful of chips opening their mouth. They use it in the opening scene of Goldfinger as well. We will mention it again. Yes, that very same sound.
It was
when James Bond takes the pigeon off his head.
I've got a pigeon on my head. So, I mean, this is like a Spectre training camp. This is on Spectre Island, right?
Yeah.
It's just Spectre training something or other. We got to kill James Bond. Yeah. Okay. He's not dead. Then the opening credits, these title sequences. This title sequence was not by Maurice Binder. He wouldn't do this or Goldfinger, but then he would do all of them until his death. Now, I noticed Sean Connery's name still is not above the title. How interesting.
It's just above the belt.
It's just above the belt. It's not Sean Connery in From Russia with Love. It's From Russia with Love starring Sean Connery. It's a big deal when an actor gets their name above the title, but he wouldn't get that until the next movie.
I'd never even thought to like notice a distinction like that.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's like a big like contractual thing for actors. Is I'm important enough to get above the title billing.
And would he get there before he retired first time?
The next movie.
Goldfinger.
In Goldfinger, okay. Yeah. It's and the other thing is another thing that makes this series great was movies today often don't do opening credit sequences, but James Bond, because it's tradition, you got to do them. Mm-hmm. And opening credits are great. They're so important to movies. And I love that they are one of the only modern movies that will still do an actor in, because it was traditionally, it was, and I'm sure this was just contractual with Ian Fleming's estate, was it always has to be Ian Fleming's From Russia with Love, Ian Fleming's Goldfinger, like Sean Connery in Ian Fleming's Goldfinger. And then once it stopped being based on novels he wrote, it would be Pierce Brosnan as Ian Fleming's James Bond in GoldenEye. Which I just love, because I love the, you got to remember that the stuff you love, people invented it, individual people made it. And let's not forget their names.
Absolutely.
This opening
what was the name of the guy who did this opening credit scene?
Robert Brownjohn.
Thank you, Robert Brownjohn.
What a name.
Yeah.
And
you did a good thing there.
This is, I think this is the first one that introduces sexy ladies in the opening credits.
Right. The last one had
sexy blind
lit it had lit silhouettes of dancers, but now you're seeing actual images.
This one's getting me a little hornier. Muddy Penny.
All right, Mr. Powers. For those of us keeping track of Austin Powers and where he originated from. There will be several in this here movie that we are covering today.
Yeah, because Laci walked into the room while I was watching this, and she's like, "Oh, that's Austin Powers." Like, she would struggle with these movies because she, especially with Blofeld, especially in You Only Live Twice, where everything was taken for Austin Powers. It is kind of hard to go back and watch these for that reason if you've been poisoned. But
if you're a fan of both, well, then it's just candy time.
Right, you're living on Hog's Heaven. Blofeld, who was not a character in the novels yet, and a giant change from the novels is that, and it's very interesting, in the novels, he's going up against the Soviet Union. He's going up against their Smersh, yeah, which was no longer a thing, but Fleming still wanted to be Smersh. I don't know when the KGB started, but
don't besmirch him.
For all intents and purposes, these are. It's like when, in modern movies when they're like it's a breakaway Russian separatists or whatever. You never want it to be the actual state apparatus that you're going up against, because that would be, I don't know, you don't want to offend anybody.
Sure.
So they have Spectre, which had not been invented in the novels yet. But, we meet Blofeld for the first time, who we only see him petting a cat, heavy petting, and we hear him. And his body.
Right, you kind of talked about that last episode about how there's, you have to play nice with everybody. You have to play the middle. So who's going to be your boogeyman? Well, it can't be Mother Russia. There's got to be a bigger fish. There's got to be there has to be a more evil Siamese fighting fish, if you will. Hence the creation of Spectre.
I think that's why studios love superhero movies, because you can just get some fucking aliens.
Right.
And no one's going to get offended by that. So the Siamese fighting fish.
Until we make contact.
The Siamese fighting fish, very brave, but very stupid or something.
I find the parallel amusing.
I mean, tell us what's happening here with the Siamese fighting fish, which when I was a kid, we called them Chinese fighting fish, but they are, I read all about Siamese fighting fish. They come from Thailand. They are Siamese.
Right. He's just drawing comparisons between his employees.
We're a family here.
And his pets. And then he takes just like a hard cat treat out of the fish tank and feeds it to the cat.
That's good. I was wondering.
Doesn't look like a fish at all.
He's actually feeding a fish to this cat.
I don't think so.
But he's like, yeah, we put two of these Siamese fighting fish together. They fight each other and wear each other out. And then we, Spectre, are the third fish.
That's right.
Like, wait, where'd the third fish come from? I thought you just put two in it. It doesn't matter. And then we let them wear themselves out, and then we come in and we pick up the spoils. So they're going to play the U.S. and Russia against each other. And you can still buy these fish at Walmart and keep them in a very small cup. So,
but if you keep more than one in a very small cup, they fight each other.
Which I tried as a kid. Nothing happened. It said
false advertising, Blofeld.
According to the Wikipedia, it all depends on the temperament of the fish. Like, damn it.
I read that Wikipedia too. I had no idea they were actually bred to be like in fish cockfights.
Yeah, so they're only breeding the most aggressive ones.
Yeah, good stuff. Humans are great.
Well, first we check in on this Grandmaster chess match with this guy who gets a note saying, "Please report to your super secret duties right now." And he's like, "Okay," and then he just goes ahead and wins the chess match. And everyone's like, "Ooh, good move."
I like that because it kind of it implies that he was just toying with this guy until it was time to go.
It's like, yeah, enough.
Which is a very Spectre thing. He's just sitting there with his dead fish eyes.
He goes out to the Spectre yacht, and then Rosa Klebb and Blofeld. Blofeld always played by a different actor until Christoph Waltz played him in 2 movies, but always a different guy. So they talk about the absolutely blatant MacGuffin of this movie, the Lector cryptography device. Everyone's like, "Ooh, that sounds, I want that device. I want that Lector device." In the novel, this is called a Spector device because Ian Fleming hadn't invented Spectre yet. It sounds too close to Spector, so how about Lector? Okay, great.
But isn't that a real thing?
It's just based on like a cryptographic decoding thing.
Okay. There was no brand name of it.
No, yeah. Ooh, a Dyson Airblade. Hand dryer. Wow.
Hey, my decoder's made by Dirt Devil.
Rosa Klebb has defected from the Soviet Union, but the state has kept her defection a secret. So she has this girl who works in the Istanbul station, and she's like, we're going to recruit her. She doesn't know that I'm still her. She doesn't know that I'm not her boss anymore. So she still has to listen to me. And they're doing all of this because they're going to dangle the lector. All of this is good to get revenge on James Bond for killing Dr. No, who also worked for Spectre.
Right.
Kind of dumb.
It even sounds like Blofeld doesn't even know who he is before they come in with the plan.
Doesn't know who Dr. No is?
Doesn't know who James Bond is.
Oh, interesting.
That's how it plays to me anyway. Of just like, Kronstein has to explain to him, oh yeah, we're going after this guy because he killed Dr. No. Maybe he's just doing that for the audience. He should have looked into camera when he said it.
But it is interesting to see, like, every movie today is about continuity, and we got to tell an overarching story. It's interesting to see movies from back then that have to have callbacks and like previously on James Bond, Dr. No, and Sylvia Trench will be doing last time you left for Jamaica. Wow, interesting.
Yeah. They don't feel crowbarred in though.
No.
Like it seems like some movies feel like they have to do it, and so it becomes a priority to remind. But this just seems like a natural continuation.
Right. So over on the Spectre compound, Robert Shaw, who's like this Aryan god who's just like bathing in the sun, and Rosa Klebb goes to check him out, punches him in the stomach with brass knuckles, and he does not move. So hire this man. He's the guy for the job.
Her response is just deadpanning. He seems fit enough after wailing on him with the brass knuckles.
Yeah. So all right.
This is where the humor comes in. Like there are so many little moments like that are just kind of subtle, and they go by without lingering on. They're great.
You're right.
They're great.
She's like, yeah, you report to me in Istanbul. Okay. So she goes over to Istanbul, and now we meet the Bond girl of this picture, Daniela Bianchi, as Tatiana Romanova. Romanova. Okay. Whose voice, of course, was dubbed over.
Naturally.
By Barbara Jefford.
And probably other people as well.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Good.
Not in a historical way, just in a, hey, I noticed the thing.
So she works for Smersh at the Istanbul station, and she goes to meet with Colonel Klebb, who she again thinks is her boss. Nobody told. No, didn't you get the memo? She's not with us anymore. But she has to listen to what this lady says, and so Klebb brings her into her office, asks her some intimate questions. How many lovers have you had? Could you take on a new lover even if you were not in love? And she says it would depend on the man. Well, what about this man? And shows her a picture of James Bond. From now on, you will do anything he says. Now, in the novel at this point, Colonel Klebb then takes off her clothes and makes a pass at Tatiana. And I realized, now watching the movie a second time to prepare for this, the movie implies that's what happens here. Because it does the sex dissolve.
The sex dissolve. Is that an industry term?
Fade to black is an industry term. This wasn't a fade to black. This was a dissolve, but it was like it's implying like more stuff is going on that we can't show you now.
Right.
Kind of.
I think they do a good job of, sex dissolve notwithstanding, of otherwise kind of, leading you, not spoon feeding you, but like that this character has motives.
Right.
And I also love how the Spectre training guy is like trying to lead her by the arm and impress her, and she's just not listening.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's so good.
Yeah, he leads her through the training ground, and he's just going, oh, you like this? You like this? You like that? It looks good, huh? And she just says training is useful, but there's no substitute for experience. And he goes, yes, we use live targets as well.
Yeah, as we saw in that opening scene. Who was that poor guy?
Yeah, he looked like some French guy. He looked French to you? Maybe it was the pencil thin mustache.
I don't see nationality like Wade does.
That man looks French.
All right. Now, but it's 18 minutes into the movie that we meet James Bond. That's pretty long into the movie before we finally get to him.
18 minutes, 50 pages? Yeah.
No, that was like a full third of the novel. But yeah, I mean, it is a long way into the movie, and we see him doing his favorite thing to do, which is kiss a lady, not have sex. If Wade and I and Laci have talked extensively in the past that does James Bond like having sex, or does he just like kissing? Because we think he maybe just likes kissing. But I think after watching this movie, I don't know. I'm a little torn. I think Sean Connery might be into having sex.
He's at least into kissing in different locations.
Yeah,
in vehicles.
It's
in this one scene, we see him in a boat and in a car.
That to him is having sex. It's like, well, we kissed in the boat. Now we can kiss in the car. Later, I'll kiss on a train.
Yeah.
So
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
He's
starring James Bond.
He's smooching with Sylvia Trench from the first movie.
Yep.
And we hear the titles, From Russia with Love.
Oh, first time we hear it with lyrics, though. Because in the opening credits, it's a full instrumental. It's a full instrumental that like perfectly transitions into the James Bond theme. And as a musician, as a musical moment, that is just like, that is one of the most exciting things, is when the one theme turns into the other theme, and you're not even ready for it. It's so cool.
Score in this movie is great. The really intense, I don't know what it's called when it just gets to the really intense variation of the Bond theme. I love it. So yeah, they're kissing on this little boat, and then James Bond's like Outback Steakhouse pager goes off, and he's like, oh, give me a moment. And he goes over
My table is ready.
The bloomin' onions, please. So he goes and picks up his giant car phone. Huh? Who's this? And they're talking to him while Sylvia's like, James, let's have sex. No. Moneypenny's calling him. I'll be there in an hour. Make that an hour and a half.
Austin Powers tracker. Sylvia, behave.
When does that happen?
In this scene.
No, but when does that happen in Austin Powers?
Behave?
Oh, you're saying that is a...
I'm saying that this is where that came from.
You really think so?
Yes, when he slaps her hand and says, behave.
Okay. All right. I believe you.
I have a way of tying that up when we get to the end of the movie.
Okay. So
stay tuned, everyone.
And then, then he says, now about that lunch.
And then he pulls up the top of the car and
get a sex dissolve.
And eats an apple.
All right. So
and here we go.
Here we go. He goes into, meet with his boss, with M, and he's told, hey, a Russian agent wants to defect because, okay, listen, she's the agent in Russia who's assigned your file, and she looks at your pictures and reads about your exploits of daring do all day, and she's fallen in love with you like a damn daffy lady reading a tabloid.
Damn daffy and the daring do's.
Falling in love with a movie star. And he's like, it's got to be a trap. It's like, obviously it's a trap, 007, but we're so intrigued we need to pursue it. It just might be crazy enough to work, yes.
Just like Kronstein said in the beginning, the British always treat a trap as a challenge.
Yeah, and he's the chess master who's always anticipating your moves. So he's being proven right so far.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, obviously it's a trap, but, if we can get our hands on this Lector, it's just too good an opportunity to pass up. And then James Bond looks at her picture and he's like, sure. And then...
But then what if I don't meet her expectations? Just say that you do.
In the novel, James Bond has just broken up with his girlfriend, and this scene starts with M asking, like, how are you dealing with the breakup of you and your girlfriend? It's James Bond. It's M being like, so how's your mental health, bud? How you doing? And it says that James Bond was very uncomfortable with the questions. So,
naturally, as a stiff upper lip British person.
So
Scottish person. British person.
Yeah, British person, please. Q Branch comes in. This is our introduction to Desmond Llewellyn.
Major Boothroyd.
Now, I cannot get a straight answer to this. Is this supposed to be the same character as Boothroyd?
I think so. Although it's not important enough to have an argument about.
It's not important, I agree. But
I just always treat them as the same character if they hadn't found the actor yet.
Yeah, I mean, they describe that guy as the armorer, and Q is more than the armorer.
Right. Even though all he's doing is arming James Bond.
Yeah, I guess.
In a clever way.
In the original Star Wars, there's a scene where a guy when they're doing the mission prep for the attack on the Death Star, a guy in like the rebel group is like, that's impossible, even for a computer. You remember this?
Yes.
Okay. In the script, That is Wedge Antilles. And that actor who says that was indeed the actor playing Wedge Antilles. He was then fired and recast with the guy who we know as Wedge Antilles. So there are technically two actors playing Wedge Antilles in the movie. They just never name that guy, so it doesn't matter.
Huh. And so just like he's never referred to as Boothroyd, he's just Q.
Right. But we can, in our head canon, we can say this is the same guy. Mm-hmm. You're welcome, everybody.
Although if you choose to believe they're different people, it totally plays.
Yeah, I just won't talk to you because we can't.
Because we don't have that kind of time.
Well, it's also just too big of a difference for us to overcome.
But hey, Desmond Llewellyn, right?
Desmond Llewellyn, who, what a guy, said
more or less carried the franchise.
But I mean,
at times.
But like because of this, became one of the most recognizable people in the world. And he would say like, yeah, they don't pay me much money. I go in for 2 days every 3 years. I'm a day player. They probably, yeah. But
and famously doesn't know anything about gadgets and gizmogery.
He doesn't know about attaché cases and stuff like that. He's so fucking good. And he's got it all figured out immediately. Like he's there's just like perfect continuity between this and The World Is Not Enough.
Yeah.
He just has the character down.
He arrives fully formed.
Just like a little bit annoyed. He's probably having to deal with like Playboy agents all the time, not taking him seriously. But Bond is very respectful right here.
Yeah.
When he learns about, attaché case, nice. 50 gold stallions or whatever. What are they called?
Sovereigns. He opens up the suitcase and 50 horses just run out.
Oh, there's the Italian stallion, Rocky.
This is one of my favorite Q scenes in the entire series.
Really?
I'm sure it is with lots of people. It's the simplicity of it. The attaché case is just a classic gadget of, Swiss Army knife style.
It's just so simple.
It stores your this, it keeps that in it, this is hidden in it, and if anybody tries to mess with it, it'll blow up in their face. Mm-hmm. That's all you need.
I know. It is so fucking simple. And
by the next movie, of course, we have a whole ass car.
Yeah.
Which, not a problem with that. Not until it turns invisible in 40 years.
I love an ass car.
Yeah.
And then plus an ordinary tin of talcum powder.
Right.
Filled with tear gas.
Yeah.
So
before we go on, I did a puppet show in 5th grade of that scene.
Of that scene that we just covered?
That scene that we just covered, yeah. The whole M giving him his mission through Q giving him the briefcase.
What kind of puppets are you using?
Hand puppets. I made these out of like just like fabric and cotton balls and heavy paint. And I made 3 of them, an M one that had a little pipe sticking out of his mouth, Q and James Bond. And, M would have to like go down under the desk when Q came out. And I also had, I don't remember why, but I had this tiny little briefcase that was about the size of a puppet's briefcase. That was a business card holder. Oh. And so I even had the briefcase prop for so that's how I spent my time in 5th grade.
Any record of this?
I kept those puppets for a long time. I don't think I still have them.
We'll do that for a Patreon episode.
Yeah.
Did you do voices?
Oh, you better believe I did.
How was the reception from the other 11-year-olds?
Mostly confusion.
Yeah.
An ordinary tin of talcum powder.
How many of y'all like talcum powder? Come on.
Let's hear it.
So then our favorite thing ever is just James Bond getting off a plane and going through the airport.
Yeah, this time the airport's in Turkey.
Boom, boom. So fucking cool to see Istanbul in 1963. And this movie went there and filmed on location. Way fewer shitty rear projection shots in this movie. There are a few, but you get just a lot of quality on location filming here in this movie. So we meet Kareem Bey, the Istanbul station chief, who the movie doesn't do as much of this, but in the book, James Bond is like, I've only met you, but I already feel like you're... Why do I sound like that? Ugh, God. I already feel like you're my best friend. James Bond falls in fucking love with this guy.
Yeah. They don't play that up as much in the movie, but you do get that.
These
do
guys
get a sense
love
of
each other.
camaraderie, and you don't always get that between James Bond and whatever, like, second rate lackey is supposed to be helping him. But this is no second rate lackey. This is like a guy with a huge family who runs all the shit in Turkey, and he started off as a circus performer, and worked his way up to, just being the biggest family in Turkey.
He's a path not taken for James Bond, or maybe there's still time for me. I can still do my fun adventures, but also have an army of sons who also work for me. Maybe.
And real quick, just piggybacking off of Rosa Klebb, do you think Karen Bay is queer? Because he does describe making out with his partner as back to the salt mines. And I was wondering this time around is this like an appearance he has to keep up?
That's a good point.
Or is this just a guy who loves his work so much that he's like, I gotta go fucking kiss this woman?
I was describing that more to just like, I don't know, sort of just a Victorian, like, again with these broads who want me to go have sex with them. Come on.
That's how I saw it for like 30 years. And now I'm suddenly wondering.
Back to the salt mines.
Yeah, that's such a...
But then, like, shouldn't she be smarter if that's the case?
Yes.
Then why is she bothering?
Yeah.
He calls my vagina a salt mine. Like, excuse me? Like, I don't have to be here.
Or maybe it's his balls. He's just got to crawl up into his balls and forget about what's going on.
So Kareem Bay.
He's great. I love this character so much.
Mm-hmm. He's great. Played by Mexican actor Pedro Armendariz, who I just saw in the John Ford movie Three Godfathers. How about that? Total coincidence. The rare Christmas Western.
What?
Yeah, he plays, and in that movie, he plays that movie is the story of the birth of Jesus, but set in the American West, and John Wayne and Pedro and this other guy, Harry Carey Jr. are the three wise men, and they find like a woman giving birth in a like carriage out in the middle of the desert.
And what's it called?
Three Godfathers.
Wow.
It's a pretty fun movie. I was thinking I want to do like a list of like, everybody knows about Christmas horror, but I want to find a Christmas for every other genre. Can I find a Christmas? Well, I found a Christmas Western. Can I find like a Christmas musical? Well, yeah. And a Christmas, whatever the other ones are. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, a great Christmas spy movie.
Huh.
Anyway, that's Kareem. And not Turkish, not Middle Eastern at all. He's Mexican.
But he's sort of like the quarrel of the movie, and I even mean that in terms of like how attached I get to him, just like how much I love this character, that I'm genuinely disappointed when he doesn't make it to the end of the movie.
I know.
I scream no, like Darth Vader.
And even worse, you have to see his poor son learning the news, and James Bond just being so cold to him.
Right, very cold. But I also love how immediate the reaction is. Who did it?
I don't know, some fucking guy.
I haven't learned that part. We're not that far in the movie yet, kid.
So Kareem immediately is like, there's all this thing with this gorgeous Russian lady who wants to fuck you. I don't go back to London, spend a few days here with me, and then go back to London, forget all this stuff.
Right.
And James Bond is like, I just might do that.
So then his son, I love we skipped a moment that where he comes into the office and M is just staring at him. He cuts him off mid-sentence with nothing more than a stern look.
When Bond goes in to see him?
Yeah, when he wasn't expecting his boss to be behind the door. It's just like a simple a simple little, and then the same thing with he's my son. He also is my son. All of my key employees are my sons. Just the way he delivers that. It's like so funny. So then we get to James Bond in his hotel room. He doesn't go pee. He doesn't go to sleep. But what does he do?
Checks for fucking bugs.
Checks the whole damn room for bugs.
Tarantulas.
Right.
Centipedes.
You got to look out for the tarantulas hiding in the chandelier, the centipedes behind the paintings. And after completing his search, he finally finds the bug in the telephone. So
there's one behind a painting too, right?
No, the whole place was clean. I think that's where the music is leading you, because when the theme hits the da 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 da, he sees the phone. Mm-hmm. That's like, here's where it is. They thought they could. They didn't put it in all the obvious places, but they hid it under the phone. So he takes out his little And then all the best James Bond movies don't introduce all the Q gadgets right away. Q never tells him about the bug reader in the office. He just takes it out and he's got another gadget we didn't know about. Cool. The best Bond movies pull some kind of trick like that. So he calls down to the front desk, another one of my favorite moments in the movie, and he says, "I'm afraid the room won't do. The bed's too small." And the woman on the other end of the phone runs to an open curtain where somebody's listening in and says, "Did you hear that?" And I always want him to go, "Yeah, it's called a fucking listening device."
That would be me. Every time Laci whispers something to me in public, I'm like, "What?
Did you hear that?"
So
or they just cut to somebody standing at the desk waiting for their room. Is he listening in?
All they have to offer him is the bridal suite. And like, oh, I guess I'll take it.
I may like it. Is there anyone waiting for me in it? Not just yet.
So then he goes, meets up with Kareem, and the lady's like, "Kareem, let's have sex." That's just all women are just waiting for their spy master boyfriends to have sex with them. And he's like, "Oh, God, okay, here I go." But then a bomb goes off.
You're right. I am reading way too much into that. It's really just like, male fantasy serving.
Probably, but yeah, we can give this a queer reading, and I think that does make it better. And certainly there's a queer reading of James Bond himself. That come on.
Yeah. So,
yeah, he's saved by sex because he would have been in his desk when the bomb went off if he wasn't going to the salt mines. And he has this whole thing with like, okay, so the Russians are here and they spy on us and we spy on the Russians, and it's just like a fun game we have, and we just keep things peaceful. We have a truce, we have a détente. But why are they breaking it? Why are they trying to blow up my office? Me, Kareem Bey, I don't do anything. And James Bond's immediately like, "It's probably my fault. It's probably because I'm here." So Kareem takes him down into the catacombs, and I love this. He takes him down to the catacombs beneath like the station, the British station in Istanbul. And he's like, "The Emperor Constantine built it as a reservoir 1,600 years ago." And Sean Connery just gives the most disinterested, "Really?" And they get on a little boat and they putt around just like Ian Fleming. We see the rats swimming, and they paddle over where they can go beneath the Russian consulate and look in a periscope and see some Soviet bigwigs talking.
Up periscope.
Send it up. And in this room of Russian bigwigs is this man, Karolinko. He's a Bulgarian. He kills for pleasure.
That was a line I actually misinterpreted for most of my life, was when he says, "You should remember him." I was thinking like, what should we remember him from? But he's literally just saying, "Don't forget this guy's face."
I think I saw him on the news once.
Yeah, with the word terrorist under his face.
I do like this idea of like, it's the Cold War, but like we got our thing going. They spy on us, we spy on them. It's just we get paid, they get paid, whatever. But then this fucking Bulgarian comes in and he's like just trying to mix things up. He wants to kill us for fun. No, thank you. So Kareem is like, "Don't go back to your hotel because that fucking Karolinko is going to come get you.
Come back to the salt mines with me.
I got the perfect place to take you. A gypsy compound." Okay, so gypsy, not a word we generally use anymore for the Romani people. Although I was looking this up, is this considered a slur? There's division of opinion among the Romani people. I think it's more like saying Indian for Native American. Although in that case, a lot of Native Americans prefer Indian to Native American because they're both just names given to them by their colonists.
Right.
But gypsy is like just one of those classic things where it's like, so these people migrated from India like 1,000 years ago, and then the native Europeans are like, "You're from Egypt, I think, so we'll call you Gypsy.
Is that where it comes from? Wow.
So it is like Indians, like, you're a gypsy, you're Egyptian. Wow. And there are about 2 million Romani people living in Turkey today. But this is some classic James Bond Orientalism of like, let's look at some exotic cultures doing the most stereotypical thing they can do, a belly dancer. And yeah. James Bond is just like, yeah, please. I enjoy this.
Definitely the part of the movie that has aged the best.
But I like that he's like, he makes please tell your gypsy fucker friend, thank you for a lovely evening. There you go. I fucking said it.
Your hospitality overwhelms me.
Yeah, so
that's a line that has like made it into my personal vocabulary.
well, it doesn't seem overwhelmed, but yeah, just
no, but
okay.
It's a good line. There was one earlier. I forgot to say.
Because it's like, see, he's nice. He's not like being mean to these gypsies. He's a nice guy. He tells them thank you.
Right.
So then the Bulgarians arrive and a firefight ensues. So what do you think about this? Like, this is like I think it's the first like real action sequence in the James Bond movies. More so than anything that happens in Dr. No.
Yeah, definitely. And it's exciting, and you get the first instance of whatever it's called, the fight scene music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which we'll hear in many more films to come.
Yeah.
But it's that da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah.
I've been watching so many Westerns lately, and I've realized Westerns for people in like the 30s, 40s, and 50s, those were just action movies. Like that's where you could see things like this. And this is shot like a Western scene. And indeed, there's horses and carriages and stuff like that in the scene because that's all that action meant. Was if people are like shooting each other and there's explosions and stuff, then it needs to be like in an old frontier town. But this is really cool. And we see Robert Shaw arrive and he takes some shots to protect Bond.
Yeah.
So what is going on? And I'm a sucker for any movie where the most evil killer of all saved me. But why?
Yeah.
Because he's saving me.
And James Bond will find all that out later. I also like how James Bond is sort of, you know, he's obviously on the side of Karim and his people, but he's also just kind of being chaotic. He like upends a table and just throws the people fighting into the water.
I love that.
He pushes a flaming wagon just into two people with seemingly without any regard for who either one of them is.
He's like a soccer hooligan. He's just
right, fighting.
If there was a window, he'd break it. Just I don't know, something's coming out of me.
Oi!
And, they drive the Bulgars away. Karim has been shot in the arm, so Bond just pours liquor on him. And he's like, and let me take care of the rest of this filthy stuff. And then he just chugs it.
I love his assessment of himself as I'm nothing but a clumsy old man.
And then as thank you, they're like, hey, you're now an honorary gypsy. Welcome to the tribe. Great. You're a better gypsy than any of us, in fact.
Well, and one more instance of you are now his son.
Yeah. So, I mean, there kind of is like a James Bond looking for his family in this movie. Like if they had developed that like in like 2 more minutes, you could actually see like, is something going on with James Bond like emotionally in this movie?
Mm-hmm. But you'd have to wait 50 more years for James Bond to have emotion.
Yeah, that's the Daniel Craig Bond.
Yep.
It's like, oh, it's all about him being lonely. And they're like, and to show you that you're a member of the tribe, we're going to let you fuck 2 ladies. Great. Oh, how shall I decide?
I'm not even going into that.
All right. So this is the next day. They leave. Well, it's the next night. And they're walking around just empty downtown Istanbul. And there's an enormous movie poster up for a movie called Call Me Buona with Bob Hope and Anita Ekberg, which was produced by Broccoli and Saltzman. This is the only non-James Bond Eon production movie.
Whoa. And, so, of course, they had to plug it.
Yeah, they did. And Anita Ekberg, who just died either this year or last year, famous sex pot, Italian sex pot. Fucking the Karolinko guy sneaks out of his hotel room, which is behind her mouth on the poster. Mm-hmm. And then James Bond and Karim just shoot him dead. And James Bond's like, she should have kept her mouth shut.
Interesting that the open mouth on the actual poster is a hippo.
It was like 9:30 last night, and I was like, this is on Amazon Prime. Should I? Will this add any value at all if I go ahead and watch Call Me Buona? No, I didn't. Looked kind of fun, though.
I did this morning try to look up From Russia with Love on streaming, and the only place I could find it available was on Pluto with ads.
How do you watch them?
On my DVDs.
Wow.
So, and I ended up being glad because I feel like I hear now so much about how if you see a movie on streaming that was made a long time ago, it's probably been cut and edited and, brought up to date, things taken out, things added in.
It depends, but yeah.
It depends, but I would, for something like the Bond films that I'm such a huge fan of, I want to see the as original, close to the original cut as I possibly could. So I was not disappointed at all to have to watch it on a crummy DVD copy.
And that's why it's good to own your media, because you own it.
Yes.
And they can't take it away from you. They'll find a way. But I have them all on Blu-ray, but I also just own them like on Amazon. So I just watch them there. Because I'm a piece of shit and it's too much work to get a disc down from the shelf and put it into the Blu-ray player. And
it is more convenient if you can rely on your internet connection and our streaming content overlords.
Like if you watch Avatar on Disney Plus, you will not see the scene where they put their tails and fuck each other.
Is that so?
The scene that everybody makes fun of, but it's so important to the movie that you have to watch like the extended edition to see that, even though that played in the movie theater.
Extended.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about.
So then James Bond gets back to his hotel room. He's like, God, what a few days it's been. Now for some relaxing time with alone in the bath. Say, what's this?
But before he notices what's this, what does he do? He calls down to the lobby for breakfast for one at 9, green figs, yogurt, and coffee very black.
Not yogurt, Wade.
Yogurt. Right.
Which was
British yogurt has an H in it.
I think yogurt in the 60s was like an exotic food. Like, oh, they eat that in Turkey. That's weird.
But that was something else that just sort of slipped into my vocabulary as something I would say randomly.
Which part?
Breakfast for one at 9.
Breakfast?
Green figs, yogurt, coffee very black.
We see through the curtain a naked Tanya, and you can see her ass. And I have a screenshot on the screen here because they didn't anticipate like 4K streaming and 4K Blu-rays one day. And like also they didn't need to make the actress get naked. There's no reason. She could have worn a flesh suit, but she does. Gets into bed and she's like, oh, James Bond, I'm here. So what does she sound like?
Gems.
I
know all about you.
Until she says that one line when he asks her about the Lecter decoder, and she looks up at him and as if she were Moneypenny says,
must we talk about it now?
So he, no questions asked, just like, oh, a naked lady in my bed. Okay. And gets
totally
in bed
distracts
with her.
him from the fact that he left the bath running all fucking night, presumably.
He's not a great spy.
Dumb shit.
And, but
Mr. Bond, we're going to have to charge you for using all those liters of water in the bridal suite.
God, M's going to be so fucking mad at me.
Charge it to the company's card.
I love whenever he calls it the company or the firm.
Right.
He's talking about the British government. So,
well, he does work for Universal Exports.
Right. That's yeah. They never do a very solid explanation of like, he's Commander James Bond. That's like his public facing identity, working for Universal Exports, but he gets to, I don't know. Explorts. But I do love this. I really enjoy this actress in this movie, even though it's not her real voice.
No, she's great.
Yeah. My friends call me Tanya. Mine call me James Bond. And he's like still holding her gun. And she's like, oh, careful. Guns upset me.
Mm-hmm. Which we find out to be complete bullshit at the end of the movie.
You think it's bullshit? I think she means it. She just overcomes it.
You mean when she just sort of like casually like rubs his shoulders, still holding the gun?
I mean, they've just been through something. Well, okay. It's not. I think it is a weakness of the movie that she's not much of a character. It is supposed to be, and she's much more of a character in the novel. She thinks she's
no Honey Rider,
but she has way more to do theoretically than Honey because she is playing a. She's supposed to be conning him.
That's
she's supposed
true.
to be working him.
Yeah.
But she is supposed to fall in love with him and feel, conflicted. The man I love or Mother Russia, who I love so much, who I'm not actually even working for. And instead the movie you can't even really tell. How does she feel about any of this? So it's not that like cathartic at the end when she saves him.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem with the movie, if there's a problem. But he gets into bed with her and they have sex all night. And
what do we find out? That they are filming it.
They're making a porno.
Yeah.
That Rosa Klebb and Robert Shaw are filming them.
The description of that bit in the book is I feel really, really just He describes it so disgustingly well because it's not them in the book. It's just two bobos who work for Smersh. And they're clearly getting off on filming this.
Yes. And the book's plot is like, we're going to discredit MI6 by creating a scandal. Their agent had sex with somebody and we filmed it. Ew, gross.
To say nothing of the people who filmed two people having sex.
So they're trying to both kill James Bond, such a dangerous spy, but also create a huge embarrassment and shame for the British government. That's their plan. Mm-hmm. And they're using the Spectre device as like a that's the bait, but they don't actually care about that. It's kind of a more interesting plot for the book. So next day they take a ferry on the Bosphorus. Most of the dialogue scenes are done with them on a soundstage because I guess they just couldn't record sound on the boat, but you get a lot of shots of them on the boat. I know most people don't give a shit about that. He starts asking her questions about the Lector, and we find out that M and Moneypenny and everybody are back at headquarters listening in on all of this.
And we all hear how easily distracted she is as she's answering. She starts to answer the question and then just goes, "Oh, your eyes, oh."
I mean that it would be interesting. Is she playing the act right now, or is this actually just a dumb, smitten, young lady?
I mean, she plays it so well that you can't tell.
Like, tell me about the Lector. How many keys? She's like, it has 24 penis. I mean keys. And
meanwhile, M is in his office with all these generals and prime ministers and brigadiers listening to.
Oh, Moneypenny, no, you can't tell this. And she leaves and then just keeps listening.
Yeah. And she, it's, am I like all those Western girls? Well, once when I was with M in Tokyo, we had an interesting experience. All right, that's enough. Get out. The one woman in the room now has to leave.
She leaves, but she keeps listening to hear all about James Bond sexing this woman with her. And she actually starts like Naomi Watts in Mulholland Drive, just violently masturbating under the desk.
Right.
Does Moneypenny. But then
you can see that in the extended cut.
Extended. When all of this is done, M cables Bond like, it appears genuine. Proceed with the mission. We got to get that Lector. It has 24 keys.
So he goes to the Russian consulate under the guise of getting a visa, while Karim is upstairs, I guess, with some kind of bomb, but it's also tear gas. Mm-hmm. And another just like, in a later, goofier movie, it would have been played up more, but just the Russian clocks are always correct getting cut off by the clock falling off the wall.
Oh, that's great.
I didn't. So perfect.
That's good. So as everything goes to hell, Bond uses this to sneak over into the Lector's room and, they get it. They escape. They escape with the Lector.
They give her the wrong date to make sure that she can be trusted, and plays it off as, oh, you're just superstitious.
Which is another thing from the book, is that James Bond flies on Friday the 13th. And for a while it's like, he's like, that's the best day to travel. And everybody's like, no, you're going to get into trouble. You're going to die on the plane.
Wow. I don't remember that.
So, but I wrote that down. This is a travel hack. Fly on Friday the 13th.
I will remember that one for later.
So they get on the Orient Express with Karim. They're going to take a fancy train trip from Turkey all the way to Trieste in Italy. And they settle down into their little sex compartment. They're going to be posing as a nice married couple. And so we get a lot of fun train shenanigans, just hanging out on the train, going to the lounge.
Caroline, I like that name.
They're Mr. and Mrs. Somerset, Dorset. What are they?
Somerset.
Okay. And the North by Northwest, a lot of it takes place on a sexy train with like a femme fatale who you don't know her motives, but the sex will be good in the meanwhile. And
she even has all kinds of outfits in which to have sex.
Right. And not leave the compartment.
Yep.
So Karim has his own compartment, but then he goes and there's a Russian agent who follows them, but he goes and like ties that guy up. And then James just goes back to have some more sex with Tanya until tea time. She's like, do we have to go drink the tea? And he's like, oh, but we're supposed to be English. We're going to just not have tea. Oh. So they have to
got to keep up appearances.
Get dressed. I don't even think it's appearances. He's like, I just got the shakes. But then they get informed by the porter that something terrible has happened to Karim Bey. And he goes into the compartment and Karim and the Russian agent have killed each other. Mm-hmm. And he tells the porter.
Killed each other.
They've killed each other, yeah. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. Blah. At the same time. That's how it happened.
Blah, blah.
Tells the porter this must be kept quiet until we reach Trieste. And the guy's like, what's it worth it to me? And he has to keep giving him cash. But yeah, Bond is like,
After which he just says, I'll try. Yeah, all right.
But Bond, this hits
nothing
hard
from you.
to Bond. He's like, he was my best friend, like a father to me. Never forget you, sweet prince. And he gives him a delicate kiss on the forehead.
He was like a father to me. He comes back to life for 1 second. I'm 3 years younger than you.
So he goes back to Tanya and starts giving her the business and smacks her. Smacks her good. Which Sean Connery, famously said something about like, sometimes a woman's asking to get smacked. But then
famous quote.
Yeah, but then subsequently he's like, oh, but I never hit a woman. Never.
Well, but at this point in the story, he, his mind is reeling, his thoughts are spinning, and he can now only think of her as a potential enemy agent.
Yeah.
It's not just like, I'm going to go smack this woman I'm having sex with.
No, exactly. And this is him losing control a little bit. And, part of the Sean Connery thing is he is dangerous. He can be a little unhinged and scary. Mm. And that's part of what's charming about him. And this is when we really get to see it. And
he's having trouble coping with his emotions.
And she's like, no, I didn't do it, James. I love you. And he's like, sure. I bet you love. No one loves me. And so the train stops at Belgrade, and he's supposed to so Kareem's son works for MI6, and here's this, we start to get this really cool tracking shot of Robert Shaw, who's on the train, and the camera's following Robert Shaw up in the train and Bond down on the ground.
At the same time.
Yes, it's
Great
really
shot.
cool, yes. And so he overhears the coded language they use. He's like, okay, so that's all I got to do is say some stupid gobbledygook about oh, yes, I like smoking cigarettes too. Oh, well, here's a match. No, a lighter is better. Thank you.
Until they go wrong.
Queen and country and eel pie.
For England, James.
And so
I love that. I love the way they use that because they call back to it several times, but you only hear the characters say it enough to know that this is this is the code for this mission. And then you just kind of see two people talking and you can't hear them.
You can't hear it
over the din of the train station, but that's just, I love that.
Because it is a little silly. If you heard it again, you'd start to maybe think, oh, this is kind of dumb.
I think the silliest part about it is no one ever lights a cigarette after that exchange.
Which is all they do.
Sean Connery throws his cigarette onto the train tracks after this.
Nasty. There's this thing where he's got to jump off the train in the frontier between Yugoslavia and Trieste because he's not going to, I guess when they cross into Italy, they have to go through customs and they're going to look at his lector. And he doesn't have Kareem to protect him anymore, just some stuff. I got to get off the train.
Yeah, it's contingency plan time.
So help me send somebody from MI6 over to Zagreb, and he'll help me just jump off the train somewhere. And we're starting to get close-up shots of the train wheels, superimposed maps, and the music is really intensifying. And now I think it's the intensity is really, really building here because, like Wade said about Robert Shaw is Jaws the shark in this movie as this lurking threat.
Calm down, booby.
But a package is being delivered. I gotta fucking kill that guy. They arrive in Zagreb, Croatia, and now Robert Shaw poses as an MI6 guy. He sees the real guy, and I love that we see him go into the bathroom. Don't follow him into the bathroom, but only he emerges.
Right.
And we're like, dude, this guy's a fucking badass.
This guy's bad. This guy's really bad. And as soon as we haven't heard him speak in the entire movie. And the first time we do, he's in character as just his internalized hatred of all things British.
Right.
And he's just, in fact, the novel even spells gentleman the way he says it with a CH, an English gentleman. Also, captain is not a first name.
Yeah, so Robert Shaw goes up to Bond, is posing as the British agent, and is putting on the super exaggerated English accent.
Nash, Captain Nash.
And I did look up, was Robert Shaw dubbed for this? I think it's just the voice sounds kind of disembodied because he's putting on so much mustard on it. I don't know.
I think he probably dubbed his own, but I think that's him.
Right. But But when he eventually
lots of characters famously in James Bond was the original South Park, in that only 2 or 3 people did the voices of 600 people.
Right, exactly. So you've not heard him speak the whole time. He's been like this weird Cossack or this Aryan god, and then oh yes, hello, oh my name is Captain Nash. Oh, hello, old boy, old man, whatever.
I busted every record getting here.
Which is what Wade said to me when he showed up at my house.
Only got Tim's water an hour ago.
And I was mad at him until he said that, and I was like, God damn it.
That guy, come on in. Let's record a podcast. That's what he said.
So to kill some time, they go have a meal in the restaurant car, but Robert Shaw drugs Tanya and then leaves her in the compartment.
And not very clandestinely. Not very good at the espionage end of what he's doing there.
Right, but I love that
immediately Sean Connery's like, so what did you put in her drink?
But I love that he's like his cover isn't blown yet. He's like, no, listen here, old man. Only room for one on this mission, so I had to drug her, you see, right?
Yeah. Kronstein may be the chess master, but Grant is the checkers player. So he thinks one step ahead.
But what point does he? Bond still buys it though. But
right, his suspicions are aroused, but he manages to talk him out of it until he can get him close enough to whip him over the head.
To just bonk him, bonk. But I notice he says, "Careful, 007."
Yeah, I like that.
Is that the only time he's called 007 in the series?
To my recollection, yeah, no one else ever says it like that.
The audiobook of From Russia with Love I was listening to would call him 007. And it's like, that audiobook reader's just trying to be different. I don't appreciate it.
But yeah, all of this, the slow boiling over of being called old man repeatedly.
And it's reflected in the filmmaking because, well, I mean, he bonks James Bond. Oh no, I've been bonked. And then he passes out and then wakes up 2 minutes later. And now the camera's just sit on Sean Connery, just like watching him, just like absorbing this, and then watch Robert Shaw and just these two lions just surveying each other. And now Robert Shaw drops the put on voice and he's just using his natural speaking voice. And it's suddenly so fucking effective.
Mm-hmm.
You're on your knees. How does it feel, old man?
He barely gets above a whisper. So he's been physically menacing this whole time. And now the picture is complete.
He's got it, just got pulled. It's very simple. It's just these two guys in a train compartment and Robert Shaw has the gun on Sean Connery. And Sean Connery's like, old man, is that what they call each other in Smash? And he's like, Smash, come on, you fool. I work for Spectre. Of course. And he explains, no, Tanya thinks she's working for Mother Russia. She's not working for us, Spectre, which is just an interesting wrinkle. Like we can understand somebody wanting to work for their own country. That doesn't make them evil. If they work for Spectre, then they're bad. So he's like, oh, I can continue my l'affaire russe with this lady. So anyway, they fucking fight. They fist fight.
Well, Grant just kind of lays out the plan slowly,
right.
Piece by piece, and as you said, it just keeps panning to Sean or cutting to Sean Connery, like as he's slowly absorbing it all while trying to figure out how he's going to get out of this with his hands stuck in his pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And with every little piece of information, the only quibble I have is that Grant gets so, and maybe was his downfall. He gets so into the idea of I'm going to be the one to put James Bond down that he's like, I'm going to shoot you 4 times or as many times as it takes for you to crawl over here and kiss my foot. But he's supposed to be making it look like a suicide.
I just always wanted to say that because it sounds so fucking cool. It's like the first won't kill you, nor the second, or the third, or no fourth, and then your bloodline is eliminated and all memory of you wiped from the earth.
I also love how we finally get the reemergence of the unadulterated Sean Connery Scottish accent in this scene.
Ah!
Must be a pretty sick collection of minds to dream up a plan like that.
Highlander.
There can be only one Bond, and so he kills him in the sex compartment.
Fucking chokes him to death. It's like
with his own watch garrote.
Yeah, you fucking feel it. This is so intense. This is great. This is incredible. And then just because he fucking hates this guy. He doesn't hate the people he kills usually. He didn't care. He didn't give a shit about Dr. No.
No. But this guy called him old man one too many times.
He fucking takes the cash from his pocket.
Well, the cash that he took from James Bond's pocket.
Yeah, but what does James Bond care about cash?
You're right. It's just government money.
Just like, there you go, you son of a bitch. Old man, you won't be needing this where you're going. Hell! You'll be in hell. Eating haggis. So Tanya, she didn't wake up during any of this, but then he's like, hey, Tanya, wake up. Time to get off the fucking train.
Stay here, please. Go to bed with me. Snuggle me. I'm so tired.
He starts getting really mean with her. He's like, no, you sound stupid. Time to jump off the fucking train.
This movie's almost over, and we have 3 chase scenes to fight.
We do have a lot more chase scenes to go through. They jump off the train. Robert Shaw Grant had a guy waiting for him, but Bond easily dispatches with him.
Just sort of slams the truck hood down on him.
Yeah, but you come on, you're still going with us, and he just throws Tanya into the flower bed in the back of the truck, and like, there, sleep it off. And
one of those one-liners that just doesn't feel as like pithy and goony as it would in the Roger Moore era.
Sleep it off?
Yeah.
I didn't even read to me as a one-liner. I thought he was just being practical.
Oh, just like dump her in the flowers and sleep it off. You'll feel better in the morning. It just seems like a one-liner.
So a fucking helicopter now attacks them, but he, punches the helicopter and makes it explode. This is okay. It's just like...
He gets on the boat, points at it at like Fonz, and it starts up.
All of this is cool. I just think the movie has peaked already.
I agree. I think if I have one quibble with it, and I don't, but it's, we've come this far, and like you said, it kind of peaked already, so we need to have some chases to get the blood pumping.
But that's often kind of a Bond thing, is there's just kind of an extended denouement.
Well, they don't always have this many back-to-back chase scenes, like crammed into the last 20 minutes of the movie.
And where you keep changing locations.
Yeah.
So
it is moving, like it's clipping along at this point.
It's all happening very fast, but just a lot is happening. So they get down to this guy's boat, and Bond puts on a neat little captain hat. I'm the captain now of this vessel.
Look at him. He's the captain now.
We go check in with Spectre. Blofeld is called in Rosa Klebb and called in Kronstein, the Grandmaster, to yell at them. You guys have been doing a terrible job. Terrible. And I'm going to kill you, Rosa Kronstein. Kronstein gets killed with the awesome poison blade to the leg. I love it.
And not many, I feel like, iconic gadgets that don't come from Q Branch, at least in these early movies.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
But the poison tipped shoe is
just the idea of that is so scary.
Yeah.
So there's fucking boat chase. But they just happen to be on a boat with 1 billion barrels of petrol.
Of strawberry milk.
Yeah. And they get chased, and then Bond just throws the barrels behind, shoots a flare gun at them, big explosions happen, and they win. They beat the Spectre.
They win.
Yeah, they win the
Spectre
movie.
is defeated until 2 movies later.
And so they get to Venice, and they're happy in their little hotel room, like, well, looks like everything is taken care of. Simple matter from here, Moneypenny or whoever I'm talking to. But then Rosa Klebb comes in, disguised as a maid. And she like signals to Tanya, like, hey, help me get this fucking device out of here. This Lector device.
Really good at pretending to dust a room, Rosa Klebb.
Yeah.
That's some top level acting by the character.
Right. No. Yes. She blends right in. And then I think this is all really well done with no score playing. It's very
oh yeah, it feels very claustrophobic.
And Tanya is conflicted, and then eventually decides, no, I choose James Bond over this stupid bitch. And then Rosa is trying to stab Bond with the poison blade, but with Tanya's help, they overcome, and Tanya shoots her dead, and then goes to rub James Bond's back with the gun in her hand.
Yeah, and he kind of
I love it.
He kind of just takes it from her, like, yeah, you didn't need to put that there.
It's
you can put that down now.
It's what I said last episode. One of the secret weapons of Sean Connery is that he's such a bitch, and here he is being physically a bitch. Like, doesn't have to say anything. Just like, okay, honey.
Well, hey, you get almost kicked with a poison tip shoe and see how you're feeling.
And she's a horrible woman. Yeah. She's had her kicks.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bow.
But the one-liners, I just love the deliveries here because it's like he's not
trying to be funny.
right. It's almost like, did I just say that? Oh, come on, Tanya. I mean, come on.
What was I supposed to say?
So they go down to they get in a boat, and he's like, by the way, we made a porno. We what? Nothing. Throws it overboard. And they kiss.
But what leads to that is when she says, James, behave yourself. You're being filmed.
Yes, it all comes back around.
And in Goldmember, while she has a beehive hairdo, and in Goldmember, that line becomes, oh, beehive, if you remember correctly.
Goldmember's the one I don't remember.
Yep.
Because I watched the first two a billion times. And then Goldmember, I saw it in theaters. It was like first time I was ever really disappointed by a movie in a movie theater and became a movie critic. Like, are you kidding me? Celebrity cameos.
We're getting Matt's villain origin story here.
I know. I hate it. When we did the episode of Load-Bearing Beams, where we covered all three Austin Powers movies, I did like Goldmember more than Spy Who Shagged Me, which would have rocked my world when I was a kid.
And as a listener, it rocked my world.
Really?
When I listened to that.
Yeah.
I was screaming, no, at my podcast machine.
Maybe we'll do those again.
I think we should.
I've been wanting to go back. I would
love to make that a little diversion at some point later in our show.
Yeah, maybe between each actor.
Hey, that'd be fun.
Yeah, do an adjacent movie.
Yeah. Our Man Flint.
And so that's my favorite movie. All right, so what are our final thoughts and star ratings for From Russia with Love?
No thoughts, just my brain going on repeat.
Yeah. Same here. What about your star rating?
We're doing out of 10?
Out of 5.
Out of 5. I'm going full 5 with this one. When like I said, when it's playing, I find it hard to say that anything else is my favorite or the best James Bond movie. It is easily top 5, maybe top 3, maybe number 1. We'll find out as we go along. What about you, Matt?
It is definitely a top 5. 5 stars for me. We will see it's between this and Goldfinger as what's the best Connery. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it'll be able to top it. I think I'll probably be like, well, I think Goldfinger has like iconic moments that are better than anything in From Russia with Love, but this is just great beginning to end, and I think it's so fucking well directed. And there's stuff in this you don't normally see in a James Bond movie. The level of intensity and James Bond's hatred for Robert Shaw is so interesting to see from him.
This man hates British people.
Oh.
And our stereotypes.
What's to hate? I mean, come on.
Tea at 4? Yogurt? I mentioned last episode the James Bond marathons that they would play on cable TV when we were growing up. And this was one, Goldfinger 2, that if I saw it coming up in the programming, I would clear my schedule. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, From Russia with Love is coming on. That's what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah.
And it really has not diminished for me at all in my entire history of watching it. I love it the same every time it's on. And it sometimes even brings me back to that feeling I had as a kid of just enjoying a good James Bond movie. This has everything I want out of a James Bond movie, and I would even go so far as to say it pretty much has anything I want out of a movie. Mm-hmm. So yeah, solid 5. Easy.
And he has not embraced the silliness that he would go full goofy James Bond in a few movies, mm-hmm. but here he's playing it very straight, very intense. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of the most straightforward just spy movie plot we get in the whole series, because we're dealing with like shifting allegiances and double agenting and playing governments off against each other. So it's just so satisfying to see. So I love it. It's great. 5 stars.
There's a whole roster of villains too. That's the other thing that which will I think come in more into relief in the next episode, when there is one clear cut bad guy that James Bond is up against. But you just have so many great villains in this movie, between Rosa Klebb and Grant and
Kronstein,
and Kronstein,
Karolinko.
Blofeld, and just everybody.
The fish.
The fighting fish. Everyone did, like, R.I.P. to that fish who gave his life on screen.
And they probably had to do that like 200 times because they just couldn't get it right.
So you know what? Pour one out
fish.
for all the other 199 fish.
1 Week Rental is the name of my movie podcast that I host with my wife, Laci. We do a movie every week, a deep dive, history of the movie, talk about the movie, make jokes about the movie, etc. 1 Week Rental, wherever you get your podcasts. Wade and I have a band called Rural Route 9. Our album is called The Joy of Averages, and you can get it wherever you get music. Wade, what you got?
I've got an album of my own called Who Said That? It's also available wherever you get your music. Bandcamp is preferable because the artist gets to actually see some of that coin. Rural Route 9 on Bandcamp too, yes?
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, check out Bandcamp for all of our...
I think we've had one sale, and it was to me.
For all of our creative outlets.
Yeah.
We're musicians. We like to make music. We're just doing this podcast for you.
Exactly. But we have the theme song to Pod Job. We did it.
Oh, yeah, that's us.
Yeah, that's us.
If you want to hear what it sounds like when we put our brains together for 40 seconds, hope y'all had fun.
Hope everybody had fun.
We'll see you back at the lodge.
Take care of your fighting fish. Don't get stabbed with a blade. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.